Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Coffee Corner. I feel like I've been doing these a lot lately, and in theory, I really have. I have figured out that in the month of January, we did Coffee Corner 5 times since I started back to school. Actually, 6 because we had a day off. I have almost done Coffee Corner as much this month as I plan to be in school. So, it's very odd, because you expect, you're like, oh, this is going to be like an every once in a while thing while during the school year, and it ends up being like a lot more. So it's very weird. But, I mean, that's how 2022 is going so far, I guess. So I hope that you're having a wonderful Monday, and I hope that, you had a really great weekend. Sam and I had a fantastic weekend. Saturday, Sam got up and had to go to work. That's kind of some weeks he doesn't have to go into work. Some weeks he does. Good morning, Paul Vines. Welcome in. Thanks so much for driving and listening this morning. Hope you are having a great Monday morning. So Saturday, Sam got up and went to work, and then he came home, and then we chatted on Facebook Messenger, audio call while he was doing some work stuff. And he's like, hey, there's this home and garden show down at Century 2 today. Would you want to go? And I'm like, oh, that sounds great. I love doing that kind of thing. So we went down there, and it was more of a home repair show. Good morning, honey. Welcome in. So it was still fun to go walk around, and we got a lot of steps in, and it was a great way to get kind of a workout in without feeling like it was a workout. And we got a ton of free stuff. We got a ton of free pens and cups and candy and water bottles and you name it. We probably ended up with it. It was $22 to get in, $10 a piece, and then a $2 online payment fee. Good morning, Christine Hickman. Welcome in. But it was so worth it. It was really fun. Sam and I used to go to these things all the time when we were in the military. So after that, we just kind of wandered around in different places. We went to Sam's, we went to Bed Bath & Beyond, we went to Ulta, we went to Home Goods. We just kind of wandered on Saturday, and it was a lot of fun. And then yesterday, we got up and watched YouTube videos, and then it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and my mom texts me and goes, you're coming over to Mimi's today, right? And Mimi is what we call my grandma. And I'm like, why? And she's like, well, it's Mimi's birthday today, and we're doing cake and ice cream. Didn't I tell you? And I'm like, no. But we can do that. We really didn't have any plans yesterday. The only thing that we had was Sam had homework, and we had craft and chat. And she's like, well, it's at 2 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. So about 1 o'clock is when craft and chat ended anyway. Sam and I finished up our lunch. We ran out to Dollar General and got her a card, and we got her a Dollar General gift card for her birthday. One of the things that she's said in the past couple years is she doesn't want any more stuff. But sometimes she just needs something. And yeah, she has her own income, but what else do you buy for someone who's turning 96 who doesn't want anything? You buy him a gift card. Mom covered the Walmart gift card. We covered Dollar General. The only thing that I was like, oh, I guess we could have done a grocery store gift card, but there's always Valentine's Day or Grandparents' Day, right? So and then we came home and, we watched more YouTube videos, and we discussed vacation, and it was just an all-around really great weekend. And this is kind of how the past couple weekends have went. Really calm. Last Saturday, Sam didn't have to work, but if he did, it wasn't very long. I don't really remember if he did or not. But yesterday he did, and it was just kind of a routine is kind of getting set for weekends, which I really like. I like routine. And I think that comes from school a little bit because I'm like, okay, at this time I'm doing this, at this time I'm doing this, at this time I'm doing this. During the day, it is nothing to hear my phone go off with an alarm because my day is ruled by my alarms on my phone. If I don't, I don't know where I'm supposed to be at any certain time, or I'll forget to clock in or forget to clock out because I'm doing something. So the kids are like, Mrs. Hall, your alarm's going off. I don't know. Well, give me a second. And it's usually in the back pocket of my jeans. So I just hit the side power button and it snoozes it. And then I'm like, okay, well, then like 5 minutes, I'm like, oh yeah, I was supposed to clock out. I was supposed to clock back in. So they help somewhat. they're at least a consistent reminder. So today there's no school for K through 8 because it's parent teacher conference. And so we are in the middle of the third night, like the beginning of the second month of the third 9 weeks, which is insane. Here's the funnier part about this. We have had so many days out of school that our 100th day of school keeps getting pushed back. Originally it was supposed to be the beginning of February. Then it was supposed to be last Friday. Then it was supposed to be this Wednesday. Now it's this Friday. Anyone want to place any bets on if we actually have 100 days of school on Friday? But I'm prepared. I just knocked stuff over. I hope this is not a sign of how the week is going to go. I didn't have one of the things that's different from working in the elementary than it is working at the middle school is the middle school doesn't care if it's the 100th day of school. It's a regular school day. But elementary, oh no, we dress up. We do really cool things. I didn't have anything for 100 days of school. Even though I worked part-time for the elementary last year, I didn't do it. It wasn't one of those things. So I was like, how can I get a 100 days of school shirt? Where can I get it? I'm like, oh yeah, Amazon. Okay. So here's my shirt that I will eventually get to wear for the 100 days of school. And I really like it. It says 100 magical days and it's Harry Potter themed, which I love. So I will be able to wear this hopefully on Friday. If not, it'll be next week. But I already tore the tag out of it. I'd have to, because it has one of those itchy tags in it. So I just tore it out. So that is my 100 days of school shirt. And I'm actually excited that I'm finally going to get to wear it. I ordered it right when we got back from vacation, knowing that we were going to have a 100-day of school thing. But then we also have a 2/2/22 day or 2/22/22 day. And so I think what's really funny is I don't know how your schools are. Our school has very few male teachers. We have 3 male teachers in the whole elementary school. One of them's a principal. One of them is the PE teacher. And one of them is 5th grade. And then we have a male custodian. So there's really 4 males in the whole building. Sometimes you feel really bad for them because as women, we get kind of grumpy. And we all kind of get grumpy about the same time. I'm trying to think of sometimes they're like, we're staying out of the school building for a week. So anyway, we're like, oh, we should do something for 2/22/22 day. All the guys, all 4 of them, are gonna dress up in tutus and glittery outfits for 22 day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we should put glitter in their hair. And one of the guys is like, no, like starts freaking out about it. And of course it's the PE teacher, and he's younger than I am. And I went, glitter. And he's like, no. Like, every time I see him, I go, glitter. And he's like, no! Like, he is wigging out over this. And just for the pure fact that he is so, like, going nuts over the fact that I keep mentioning glitter, my friend Juliana, who's the music teacher, and I are planning to get glitter and throw in his hair when he's not looking, just for the pure fact that it will be hilarious. Now, you're probably going, the janitors are going to kill you. We've already talked to the janitors. The janitor, Reyes, he is actually on board with it, and he thinks it's really funny. So we're going to do it, try to do it outside, so that if it makes a mess, it makes a mess outside. But, I mean, what can you do? It really was a joke up until he just, like, was so adamant, like freaking out over it. Like, you don't freak out about something like that around me, because I will figure out how to make it happen. So breakfast this morning was really good, and if you were wondering, and I'm still in the midst of eating it, it was a total of 10 points on my Weight Watchers. I had the last banana. The bananas were going brown like really quick, and so I had like 3 bananas yesterday, and I put a banana in Sam's overnight oats, and then I finished up the last one, so I feel better about the bananas. And I was like, oh my gosh, the bananas are going to go bad. They didn't go bad. So I had bananas and raspberries and avocado. And I know that sounds like a really weird combination. Then I had a slice of, or a wedge of Laughing Cow cheese with some crackers. And then I made a breakfast sandwich. And I'm not an English muffin fan by any means. But, however, I am a point value fan. My bagels that I like from Panera, Christy will be here soon. My bagels I like from Panera are 12 points, and that's like a quarter of my day. When I first started on Weight Watchers, I had like 6 more points. Every time you lose weight or drop into a new category, weight range for Weight Watchers, you lose a point. Sometimes you lose 2. I lost 2 last week, which is great. That means that it's working. But I'm going, you're taking away food. But I can replace it with 0-point food items, so it's okay. My bagels were 12 points, but these whole grain English muffins from Trader Joe's are 3. I'm like, 3 points, 12 points, 3 points, 12 points. I can handle eating 1 a day for 3 points in a sandwich form, because I'm eating it with egg and cheese, and I put a little avocado on my sandwich. And today I'm having bacon. I know. When we were at Whole Foods, I love Whole Foods bacon. It's thick cut. It's like yay thick. And I always buy like a quarter to a half a pound, because I don't eat it that often, and I will eat like 1 strip at a time. But I go, can I get a quarter pound of bacon? And the guy kind of looks at me and is like, you realize that's going to be like, he kind of went, 2 slices, right? And number one, I was impressed that he knew how many slices of bacon created a quarter pound. And I said, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to have it on Monday because I'm off school, and it's a treat because I don't really cook in the mornings because I'm too paranoid that I'm going to leave the stove on. And so he's like, okay. So lo and behold, it was 2 slices of bacon was 0.26. And he looks at me, I go, yeah, that's fine. Not a big deal. So it was like $2.75 for these 2 slices of bacon. I'm like, bacon's really gone up in price. And I know that it has because like I see the prices at the grocery store, but sheesh. So I cooked up both slices of bacon this morning, and I'll be able to have the other slice like later in the week. It's already cooked, so all I have to do is warm it up. I do like, if you've ever had the microwavable, like the fully cooked ready to eat bacon and all you do is microwave it, I really like that for in the mornings because it's quick and easy and I can throw it in the microwave. But I was like, Whole Foods has a really good pepper bacon. It's covered in cracked black pepper. It is so good. And so I indulged in this morning, and I have 1 slice of bacon on my sandwich. And here's what my sandwich looks like. It's got, you can see the bacon back here. It's got I just blanked on this, my English muffin, 2 fried eggs, and if you can see some cheese in there. And yes, I wiped out the skillet from all of the bacon grease. except for like a very little bit. Like the skillet was mainly dry because I cooked my bacon first. So this is really good. And for 3 points for the English muffin, much better than 12. So, scrolling through TikTok lately, it's a lot of stuff, obviously, about the Olympics because we're in Olympic season. And somebody, like, I follow Team USA and NBC Sports and NBC Olympics and all the Olympic ones. And they were posting about this other, it was like figure skate. No, it wasn't figure skating. It was the poles. I'll come up with it in a second. Skiing. That's the word. Skiing. I am not an outdoor sports person. Sorry. And they're like, this person got the gold. And it was from another country. And I said, congrats to everyone who has made it to the Olympics. I don't care what country you're from, because it takes so much hard work and perseverance and time and dedication and money to get to where you are. Congrats to everyone. And I got several people like, oh my gosh, you must hate America because you're supporting other countries. Oh my gosh, how could you congratulate another country on beating us? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Sometimes I can't walk through my house without falling over my feet, let alone putting me on skis that I have to navigate with a pole, which gives me horrible flashbacks of the time I tried to roller skate and I thought a stick would help me stay balanced, and I broke my arm. So, no, I'm going to, like, Sam and we're watching the opening ceremonies last night. I know we're a few days late, but we were tired, and we paid for Peacock for a reason. And we were sitting there cheering and, for everybody who was walking through, because, like I said, they've spent years of their life training for this. I can barely walk across the floor. So, it is what it is. And somebody put another, like, I was, and I follow, like, Shaun White and some of the figure skaters. Oh, I do not remember what her name is. I think her name is Maddie, I think. But she's like, this is the time of year when ice rinks see a really huge uptick in figure skating lessons, because the little girls and boys see the figure skating on the Olympics, because that's typically what's on in the like afternoon and evenings. And they want to wear the pretty outfits and wear the pretty makeup. And parents don't understand how much time and dedication and money it's going to take to send your child to the Olympics. Excuse me. And I'm like thinking, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Because I can remember being a kid and going, oh my gosh, they're so pretty, I want to do that. And my mom and dad going, yeah, no. Again, Lena, you can't walk across the floor sometimes without falling on your face. Maybe learning how to figure skate may have helped with my balance. The world may never know. So it's kind of like how many licks does it take to never Tootsie Roll Pop? The world may never know. The world will never know if ice skating would have made me more coordinated. I'm going to be the person that would vote no, but it may have made me more conscious of what I ate as a kid. However, some of those meal choices were not my own. I blame some of it on my parents. But what can you do? I'm taking control of it at 34, even though I've tried to take control of it many times before. I'm trying, and that's what matters. So, I am just I am in awe of all of them. The figure skating, the gymnastics, and I don't think gymnastics is during winter. I think that's Summer Olympics. Um, the cross country skiing, the snowboarding, the speeds, like the speed skating, and I'm going. They're like almost sitting on the ice skating, and I'm going. I drank 200 ounces of water today. Go me, go me. Go you, because like I could never do that. Is Let me know if you are watching and can comment. Did you ever want to do like go, oh, I want to do that. I want to go to the Olympics. I think everybody did at some point in something. Or did something from the Olympics inspire you in an after school activity? Like, did you watch gymnastics and decide you wanted to take gymnastics lessons? Something that I always wanted to do, but Mom and Dad said that the lessons were too high, was Irish dance. Even though I am Irish, I got to take tap um for second, third, about 3 years. There was a school in Marion where I grew up called Marion School of Dance, and a lady from owned. Good morning, Randy. Welcome in. Her name was Marianne, and she drove from McPherson, which is about 25 minutes, 30 minutes from Marion, towards the west. And she would come over every Saturday, and Saturday was dance lesson day. And so I remember growing up, I would take a cassette recorder and a blank tape every Saturday, and I would record the dance lesson so that during the week I could practice. Our back porch area was linoleum. It was the old hard linoleum. And so I would close the door because there was a door between the kitchen and the back porch. And I would listen to the lesson. And I still remember, like, I was practicing and my dad would come out and go, aren't you done yet? And I'm like, it's only been an hour. My dance class is 2. And so he'd be like, okay. And so Dad was never really into going to the recitals or musicals or plays or that kind of stuff that I was in. That was more mom's. That was mom's job to do that, or grandma's job. So he was always like, "Why are you practicing so hard?" And I'm like, "Because I want to be good." And I distinctly remember in 2nd grade that I did my tap routine for the school talent show. And there was a part in the music that had gotten messed up. And it was like this, like, and I had told them when I went to hand them my cassette, the cassette tape. If you don't know what a cassette tape is, go to your local thrift store. They will have some. I told them when I went to hand them my cassette, there's going to be a time where the music stops. It's okay. It's only like 30 seconds and there's something happened with the recording, but it'll start back up again. And they're like, oh, okay. So I distinctly remember knowing in my head where this spot was. And I'm like having to talk myself through, okay, this is still what I need to do during this part where I don't have music, and then it'll pick back up at this part. And I remember getting a card from one of the teacher's aides that summer with a couple pictures that had been taken on 35 millimeter film in the gym of my dance. And the note it said something about how much she had been impressed by how I kept going even when my music messed up, and that I seemed to know exactly what I was doing. And I remember that so distinctly. I ran around. Dance costumes are not a one person like chore to get into. It takes like 3. So I remember getting into my dance costume for this talent show before I went to school, and having to have my mom and my grandma help me into this costume, and going up to my 2nd grade teacher, Mrs. Hall, who still works at the school, and going, Mrs. Hall, I have to go to the bathroom and I can't get out of this by myself. And she's like, okay, so let's go to the bathroom. And the funnier thing is, it's the same hallway that is 4th and 5th grade that I work in now. So every time I go into that bathroom, like almost on a daily basis, I remember having to deal with this dance costume. And my teacher having to help unhook me and unzip and then unhook another part to let me go to the bathroom and then almost literally redressing me. Good morning, Christy.
Good morning.
What are you drinking? Keto coffee? Is it Dunkin' or your keto coffee?
Well, I don't buy a specific keto brand of coffee. Coffee's coffee, unless it's like flavored coffee, and then it's not considered keto. But I buy bags of Dunkin' whole bean and ground it myself, so it's Dunkin' coffee. But I made it here.
Well, because I see keto coffee at the store, so I was like, oh, Christy must buy regular keto coffee.
Keto coffee. Coffee is coffee. If it's labeled keto, it's just because they add fat to it. Because keto is a high fat diet. But
right.
I get plenty of fat in my protein, so I don't need extra.
Randy says good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and Sam said that he messaged Sammy what the surprise was.
Okay. So if you find out, it's her, not me.
Apparently.
I gotta take something from my head. Hold on.
Poor Christy. Not a good way to start your Monday morning. So I have my diffuser going right here next to me. I got it off of Amazon, but I use these Grew Nanda, and these are actually from Walmart, and they're in the health and beauty section. And this Breathe Easy is absolutely amazing. I love it, and I diffuse it all the time, and it really does help with your breathing. Working this morning for some overtime. # retail life. I feel that, Randy. I feel that. I ended up working the day after so Black Friday. I actually got a call at our hotel where Sam and I were living before he went into the Army. They're like, hey, Lena, can you possibly come in early tomorrow? And I'm like, well, what do you mean by early? I'm already supposed to be there at 5 a.m. We need you to come in at 1 a.m. tomorrow because the corporate office of Dillard's just sent us 500 markdowns in the kids department, which is where I work. That have to be done
a retail place
before we open. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. And they're like, so-and-so's, another girl that I worked with, her name was, I think, like Amanda or Ashley or something, is going to come in too. She'll be there to help with markdowns. And I said, okay. So 12:30 in the morning, I'm getting up to get dressed and walk across the street to the mall where I worked. And so the manager for the kids department, it was kids and men's, and I don't remember what her name was, but she's like, where's the other guy? Oh, I'm not her keeper. She's like, well, I called her yesterday and she said that she'd be in. I'm like, well, okay, well then I'm sure she's just running a little late, maybe, getting her alarm, like her alarm didn't go off. She's like, yeah, okay, so here's your list of markdowns that you need to find, and we're going to put them on a specific markdown rack because anything on markdown is additional 75% off for Black Friday. Okay. So I'm the way it worked is like you scanned a rack and then you printed it off, you tagged it, and then you moved it to this other rack. I worked doing markdowns until 4:45 by myself because this girl that still hadn't shown up at this point. And they're like, okay, it's 4:45. We're getting ready to open in 15 minutes. where's your other person? I'm like, I don't know. I've been doing this all by myself for the past, 2.5, 3 hours. And they're like, oh, okay, well, they had like 5 people over in men's. So they pulled a couple other people over to work because there were 3 registers and kids. And they're like, we are, everything that has a pink markdown sticker is an additional 75% off. You'll just have to hit additional 75 and then scan the item, just like you would when we're running a 75 sale. I'm like, okay, that's fine. No big deal. So it's like 8 o'clock and I'm coming back. I had been on break a couple times. They were really nice and they had provided like a whole meal set up in the back for those who had come in to do markdowns. So I was pretty much coming back from having breakfast at 8 o'clock. And here comes walking in this other girl. And I'm like, where have you been? Like, you're supposed to be here at 1 o'clock this morning. And she looks at me and goes, yeah, I decided I wasn't doing that. I'm like, okay, so whatever. I'm like, have you talked to our manager? Like, and she's like, no, I'll tell her when I see her. Okay. So it's like almost 11:30. Sam was off because Jiffy Lube was closed where he was working. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to go have lunch now. And the other girl looks at me dead in the eye and goes, no, it's my lunch period. This is when I'm scheduled for lunch. And I looked her dead in the eye and I went, I've been here since 1 a.m. I've been here longer. I'm taking my lunch. I've already got it approved by our area manager. And if you have an issue, you can go talk to her. And she did. She went over and said, she's like, no, Lena's been here since 1 a.m. She's taking her lunch. In fact, she's taking an hour lunch because typically we only got 30 to 40 minutes. So she's going to take an hour. And half of that is going to be paid because she was here doing all of the work you both were going to be doing on her own. So, Randy, I feel you in the retail world. Would not go back.
Never had that many issues with my retail work. I will say I worked at American Eagle. When I found out I was pregnant with my son, I worked at American Eagle and Bath and Body Works, actually. I had to tell my manager at American Eagle and Bath and Body Works because I could no longer lift heavy packages. And I told her in confidence. She told everybody.
Nice.
I was pissed. I was like, why did you tell everybody? She's like, oh, I didn't know it was a secret. It was like, that is my medical personal stuff that I told you because I can no longer lift heavy packages.
Right.
You just breached confidentiality. I'd send it to corporate. She got fired.
Well, I can't imagine having to work Bath and Body Works with all the smells.
Oh, yeah. So that wasn't the manager that got fired. It was the American Eagle one. The Bath and Body Works one, I'd worked with that company for many, many, many years. I worked for that company for like 10 years between Express and Bath and Body Works. And she was really good about it because we would have to like carry a bottle with us and put lotion on them. And every day they had a specific bottle. And there was only one scent I could use during that time period that didn't bother my nose.
Good morning, Nicole. Welcome in. I can't even imagine.
But yeah, I mean, I wasn't showing or anything. Like I was still.
But still, that's confidentiality.
Yeah, she broke it for sure.
If you wanted them to know, you would have told them.
Yes.
Not the manager telling everybody.
She's like, well, I just assumed everybody knew. I was like, I told you because I can no longer pick up heavy packages. I didn't tell the world, but thanks. And now I'm reporting you for breaking my confidentiality. That's the only issue I ever had in retail.
Like, this other girl, like, I should have known that she wasn't really going to show up because her idea of working was sitting in the boys' jeans area and folding and refolding jeans, like, all day.
And she did the boys section so she could meet guys. I got a boyfriend. I got my stand for my backdrop, but I don't have my backdrop yet.
We're going on a field trip.
Okay, it's right here. It can go up to 7 feet and 7 feet wide, but it goes all the way across right now. There's the little hooks. There's my Christmas ears I set aside because I need to take them upstairs.
Cute.
And down there.
I like it. And that's for doing pictures?
Yeah, right now I'm just going to get a white backdrop. Well, that's what I ordered was a white backdrop. I might get a green screen at some point, but white backdrop for now.
Randy says most retail managers are severely lacking. Like, I had some really good retail managers. Like, I had one when I worked at Dillard's that we had a nickname for him, and it rhymed with his name, and his name was Rick. So you can insert any rhyming derogatory words here.
I worked in the stock room at Bath & Body Works, except for when I was pregnant. And I did like the floor plan adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
But all the management with Bath & Body Works and Express were great. That company was great to work for. They had really good benefits even for part-time people. Limited Inc. is the company. I don't know if they separated or not, because I don't think Limited even exists anymore, but it was Limited 2, which was the kids' clothing store. Bath & Body Works.
Now that's Justice.
Express. Justice is no longer there anymore either.
Mm-hmm.
They shut down.
No, they're in our local mall.
They're still there? They shut down here.
Well, they're here.
But I know that Limited 2 went away, but Express and Bath & Body Works, and Victoria's Secret. Express and Bath & Body Works are no longer owned by the same company, but Victoria's Secret and Bath & Body Works are.
Yeah.
But I never worked for Victoria's Secret. I heard bad things about that, but all the management at Express and Bath & Body Works were amazing.
I remember going to Limited 2 with my aunt for my birthday. And she's like, you could gave me like $20. And, back in the 90s, $20 actually went pretty far. And she's like, you could have anything you want in the store for $20. And so I got like bath bombs and press on nails. And
I don't even remember that stuff in there. I remember I went in there one day just to look around because I was working for the company.
Mm-hmm.
To look around to see what they had.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just been shopping at Gap. And I guess Gap bags were popular for people when they shoplifted. I don't know. But it was just a drawstring bag. It wasn't even like the big paper ones.
No, it was the old drawstring style.
Yeah.
I remember those.
So I had just been shopping in Gap. And I'm walking through Limited 2, just looking around, seeing what they had. And it was all kid stuff. None of it would fit me. Well, I mean, I could probably have fit in an extra large shirt or something like that because I was an adult. And then I go to leave and people stopped me and asked me to open my bag. I was like, excuse me? No. Like, you don't have a right to have that. Well, we think you stole something because you went back in the dressing room. So it's like, no, I didn't. I was right here the whole time. I did not go in the dressing room. There was another woman in the dressing room that had the same color top on I had and the same color of hair.
Nice.
But yeah, they even called security. I was like, you call security, bring security over here. Let me say hi to George. And they were like, what do you mean? You know his name? I was like, yeah, I work here. So George comes over. His name's not George. It's something else, but just protect people's names. He came over and he's like, what's going on? And they were like, we think this girl is shoplifting here. And he was like, she works for the same company. Do you really think she's going to do that? And then he asked me to open my bag. He was like, do you care just to appease them? I was like, no, that's fine. I opened my bag and he was like, see, she has a pair of jeans and a t-shirt from Gap. So I actually complained to corporate about the 2 employees that were harassing me in Limited 2. I don't know if they got in trouble. They didn't get back to me, and they wouldn't have anyway, because even though I complained as a customer, I was also an employee, and they wouldn't to share that information. But I never went back in there again.
Randy says, good and bad and everything, I suppose, says the guy working and watching a live stream. Well, as long as you are doing your work, I don't see a problem with this. I remember those bags. They didn't last very long.
No, you couldn't, I can't even imagine someone trying to shoplift in one of those bags, because they're almost transparent. You can kind of see through them. Mm-hmm. And they were very flimsy.
Mm-hmm. And they broke really easily.
Yeah.
They would only hold a couple things.
Yeah.
So
a pair of jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah. And then it was like pretty much full.
Uh-huh.
So because that was kind of that, I think a lot of stores did that. They were trying to get away from the bags with the handles. But then everyone's like, but we can't fit anything in these now. So they went back to the other bags, which is the same style we still have.
I just remember being so irritated and so embarrassed even.
Oh, 100%.
So I just never went back in there. And it wasn't long after I started working for the company. It was probably 3-4 months. But I was a closer and a stockroom person, so I always knew the security guard, because I would always have them walk me to my car.
So when I worked at Dillard's, and I'm sure that you probably have to do the same thing, and Randy, you may have had to do the same thing. We had to have a clear purse when we went to work. Did you?
No, but they had to look inside our purse when we got there and when we left.
We had to use a clear purse when we went to work, and security would look through the bag. And there was one of the girls, she was like a little bit older than I was at that point, and she had this like little cloth zip bag in her clear bag. Security guard goes, "You need to open that." She goes, "No," and he goes, "You need to open that," and she goes, "No."
It probably had female stuff in it.
That's exactly what was in it. She goes, "Fine, you open it." So he unzipped it, and he zipped it up and threw it back in her bag like it was on fire.
I did that at Disney when we were last there, because I was, and I had a little zipper pouch, and you know how they you walk through the metal detector, but if they want to go through your bag, they go through your bag. They're like, "I'm going to need you to unzip that bag." I was like, "You go right ahead." And he unzipped it, and he's like, "Whoop."
And so she goes, "May I have? Am I good to go now, or do I need to just dump it into my clear bag?" He goes, "No, you're fine." So the next day, because we had a break room, and there was a note that said in the break room that all feminine items would now be provided by the company. They did not need to come in your clear bag. And she's like, "Oh no, not happening." So she called corporate, and the sign came down, and then we had the guy who was the manager for kids and men's had been the assistant manager when that situation happened, and he got demoted to a section manager.
I remember I had to do night deposits for both Express and Bath and Body Works, and we always had to have 2 other people with us, not just 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
Accountable for the night deposits, 3 people.
Mm-hmm. I remember closing sometimes, and having to count there were 3 registers in kids where I started out.
Yeah, someone would count it and somebody would have to back count it. Yeah.
I would count off, because there was only me closing, and I closed kids, and I closed the next section over, which was home, which I loved. Like, they would go, "Hey, Lena, we accidentally booked 2 people for kids, but no one for home. Could you go work home tonight?" Not a problem. I sat there and read a book because no one came into that section. So typically they didn't have someone cover that section unless they overstaffed someone in another area. But so I would get my 3 done, or my 4 if I had to count home, and I would take them back to customer service. I said, okay, I need these double checked. And we had to leave a set amount of money in each register for opening.
Yeah.
And the girl, that day must have just been in a really bad mood, because she literally left $3 in pennies in the penny cup and had no other change in there. So and that was when I got there earlier, like, because it was like 7 a.m. to 2 or 3, or 10 or 11 to close. And so I was the close shift, and she's like, I'm leaving. I'm taking the afternoon off. And I'm like, phenomenal. Like, bye. She's like, and I left you a surprise in the register. Okay. She had taken all of the change and converted it into pennies. So I called for my area manager, and I said, hey, did she request a lot of pennies earlier? And they're like, yeah, we were really confused about that. And I'm like, she converted all the quarters, all the nickels, and all the dimes into pennies and dumped them into every slot in this register. The manager's like, no. I said, come look. So I had to divert everyone to a secondary register because that was the main register. And so they got the customer service rep and her took over that register and got it all like sorted out and fixed. And I went to one of our secondary registers it took them an hour to like fix it. They're like, she must have converted some dollars into coins as well, because they said there was $15 in pennies.
That's insane.
I'm like, I'm sorry that you hate me this much that you would do that to me.
Do you think it was you, or she was just in an ill mood?
Either way, I'm the one that had to deal with it. Randy says a penny for her thoughts. A penny for her thoughts. I would have liked to know what was her thought. Randy says, I carry a Walt Disney World bag, but never checked. But grocery isn't as secure as clothing stores and such.
Yeah. So when I worked in a pharmacy in the grocery store, they never checked us, which you would think they would, because, there's medications, but they never checked us. I think I'm just going to highlight, like I'm looking at last month's. That's not a highlighter. That's a yellow pen. I'll just use that. I'm looking at last week's meeting notes, and all I have is like updates for them. So I think I'm just going to highlight the updates.
That's right. You have an early meeting this morning. Oh. So today is my last day off until next month. But starting Thursday, Randy says, I saw a meme that said, you will trust your weather to a groundhog, but not your vacation to a travel agent. Can you guess who I thought of? Christy. because she's your travel agent. Otherwise, I might get injured.
Okay, so I've got my notes.
Okay.
And I got 4 topics. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 topics. I gotta go get more coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, TikTok has become very expensive for me.
You keep buying stuff. I skip
Buying
past
stuff.
those. I just like pass right past those.
Okay, so I saw a TikTok where this girl had taken a jar, and she's like, every time I come across a shop that I want to I want to buy something from, I put their name on a little piece of paper and I throw it in the bowl. And every payday, I pull a shop out of the bowl and buy one thing from that shop. And I'm like, that's genius. I'm doing that.
No, not me. I try not to look at the TikTok shop stuff because I see enough stuff that I want that costs way too much. So I don't ever look at any of that stuff. I'll be right back.
So I'm like, okay, I am doing that because I see like everything I like, oh, that's so cool, or oh, I really need that, or like this last one I saw right before I went live was a setup, a new desk setup, and they had like this stand for your laptop that sets it up here to where you can adjust it differently, and had like this really cool typewriter looking keyboard. And I'm like, even though that's not a shop, that's still something that I'd like to do. So I'm sitting here scrolling through Amazon at wireless keyboards and at computer laptop stands because I need it. Like, I need a hole in the head, but it's cute and I like it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to add Amazon typewriter keyboard to my list of things that I'm going to buy one day. No, it is never bad to treat yourself, Randy. I agree 100% with that. But
unless you're spending way too much money.
That is the thing. I'm spending way too much money. And Sam and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are, between now and the end of next year, there are 8 trips that Sam and I have planned and on the books. And I want to be able to spend money on said trips. So I need to be better. So this is one of the ways that I can curb that. I'd still be able to treat myself, but I'm not buying everything as soon as I see it.
My problem is I like to buy stuff for the house, like air fresheners, candles, and they're always for the house. That's my problem. That and
that's how you justify it. It's not for me; it's for the house.
Yeah. I really do want that dress, though. God, that dress. Just can't see spending $1,700. That's more than crazy.
Okay, Christy, how many candles could you buy for that $1,700?
I don't need candles right now. I don't have enough space for all my candles.
But see what I mean, though?
Oh, I think I'd rather have the dress. I'm not getting it. I'm just going to admire it from afar and leave the window open all the time and go to it and be like, oh.
You crack me up.
The majority of my money from now until February of next year needs to go to the 3 trips I'm taking.
Well, see, and that's what I was saying. Like, Sam and I have our July trip. Then we have. Oh, Randy wants to know how many Jim Shores can you buy for $1,700?
Funny, I'm not actually addicted to Jim Shores. I'm very picky on which ones I want. Unless they're coming from my husband and he picks them out, and then I love them because he picked them out for me, and they're not even on my list. Most of my Jim Shores are either Stitch or Nightmare Before Christmas. Or Christmassy, because those are the ones my husband usually gets me. The only one I want right now is that castle one that Mickey Sightings is picking up for me.
I'm very excited for you in that. I'm glad that you're able to work that out.
I can't wait to get that thing. When are they going?
I don't know.
I know it's soon.
I think it's soon. I don't know.
I'm all nasally today. My eyes are watering. I've got really bad allergies today.
The allergies been really bad like the past month. And Randy says it's always good when friends shop at Disney for you. That's right, Randy. That's right. I if you didn't know, I did some shopping for Randy at the expo before the 5K.
Yeah, he told me. Always good, but always expensive.
So, but no, Sam and I have the trip in July. Oh, I need to stop laying on my arm. We have our trip in July. We have our Disney trip in December. We're splitting that trip up half and half, and we're doing a week at Disney and a week on a cruise. Then I have my trip in February when you're going. Then we have a trip in July, so that's 5. Then we have next Christmas, which is a week on a cruise ship, a short stay at Disney, another smaller cruise, a couple more days at Disney, and then we come home. That's 9 trips. 9
between now and when?
The end of next year.
I just got 3 trips planned so far. And mine are at least one of them's super, super short, and it's only 6 hours away.
Well, you also have kids.
Yes.
So.
Yes, I cannot take as many trips as you guys do.
And that's simply because we don't have children.
Yes.
So, because I got asked that the other day. How do you guys afford all your trips? You guys must be in so much credit card debt. And I'm like,
we don't
put our vacations on credit cards.
Yeah, I don't either.
They're like, well, how do you pay for it then? I'm like, because we prioritize vacations. Vacations are important to us. We make vacations a part of our budget. It's like a bill that needs paid. And they're like, oh. And I said, you don't have to put yourself in credit card debt to go on vacation.
Nope, you don't. That's what we do too. We plan out our trip way in advance, and then we save for it.
Mm-hmm. And then lately I've been seeing all these couponing people on TikTok, and they're like, I put my extra money on Visa gift cards for Disney. And I'm like, you realize that you're paying an additional $5 fee to buy a Visa gift card
when you can buy a Disney gift card.
They're like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay.
I will be back in just a minute.
Okay. Just sometimes you're just going, okay, whatever. I would rather save that $6 fee or more that you're paying on activating a Visa gift card and put it towards the total that I would put on my gift card. Sam says, since you get the February trip, I get a boat. Yes, you can have a boat. Going to Florida weekend of 19th through the 21st. Race in Daytona, but stay in Orlando. I hope you booked with Christy, because otherwise I'm going to get in trouble. Just saying. Just saying. Those fees are ridiculous. What fees? But yeah, Sam's really been wanting a boat lately. Oh, yeah, the fees are 100% crazy to activate a Visa gift card. I don't like doing gift cards for like gifts, but like as kids get older, it's kind of hard to buy for them. And so like instead of just going, here's $20 or here's $50, like I know my nephews like GameStop. So or they have like at Christmas or Black Friday, they have those like year Xbox memberships that you can get really cheap. And so we tend to buy those at the holidays and whatnot. Well, Randy, you best get on that because that's coming up quick. And Christy will be able to book that for you. Please don't get me in trouble. Like I said, I'd rather take that $6 and be able to get the $20 gift card and put the extra dollar away than get a $15 Visa gift card and have paid $6. Randy has not booked his stay yet for the 19th through the 21st
of
this month.
This month at Disney?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He's going to Florida the weekend of 19th through the 21st. Race in Daytona, but we'll stay in Orlando. And I'm like, you best get that booked, my friend.
Yeah, message me. We'll book it. You still need to figure out what you're doing for your Disneyland trip, too.
Sam says that since he's giving me the next February trip, he gets to buy a boat.
He what?
He gets to buy a boat.
A boat? Won't a boat cost more than your February trip?
He found one locally that someone's selling for like $1,500.
Oh, okay.
Which is still cheaper than my February trip.
Probably, since you're going to be staying at Boardwalk.
Beach Club.
Yeah, Beach Club.
People who watch live streams get all the insider knowledge of what goes on. They're like, well, I've done that since like last year because Lena and Chrissy talked about it in a live stream.
What was it?
Like that I'm staying at Beach Club. They're like, the announcements don't matter to them. They're like, I already know. I was on the live stream.
Huh.
I'm getting really backlit. The sun's coming up. I'm trying to hide from the sun. Tickets at work. I told the boss to message me stuff today. Oh, his wife, about Disneyland. Tickets at work, tickets are cheaper. When you do hotel, it's a wash cost-wise.
What is it?
Randy says tickets at work, tickets are cheaper. But when you do a hotel, it's a wash. Well, if you give Christy dates, she would be able to give you a quote.
Mm-hmm. And usually the tickets through your work are actually not any cheaper.
Because they don't give you tax until the end.
Yeah. Because I've done that before too, where I was like, oh, I'm going to order them through my work. They're cheaper. They're not. Because my work also offers tickets to Walt Disney World and Disneyland and stuff. And they're like, oh, as low as $66 a day. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, that's for an 8-day trip, which on my Disney experience, an 8-day trip is $66 a day.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it very much is sleight of hand selling, Randy. Also, like, Sam goes to school out of Florida, out of Kaiser, and they got an email that said that they could get 30% off tickets, but there's blockout dates.
Mm-hmm.
Or
you have to look at those blackout dates, because when you're ordering them through work, they don't specify the date. That was one of the things for like Universal. I was looking at Universals, because Universals on mine are slightly more discounted, but they're blackout dates and you can only go on the weekdays, and you can't go during like Mardi Gras or like Christmas. Like, yeah, they were literally only 20 days of the year you could go.
Right. Well, like, something that I found out, the free TA tickets that we get.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot use them during Mardi Gras.
Oh, really? I knew that there were blackout dates.
There are blackout. Now, the paid half price ones we could use, but our free comp one, it's just the same as if you had a 1-day ticket. You'd have to leave. You could only be over in IOA. Randy says, we saw that Photo Pass is included in Genie Plus at Disneyland. Assuming that's true, Disney Plus is higher in Disneyland. It always has been. It's always been higher.
Mm-hmm. Ticket prices are much higher. It's California.
Mm-hmm. Sam and I are talking about, because the Summer Olympics are going to be in California in a couple of years. I think he said like 6 or 7 years from now. This is how far in advance we talk about vacation.
That's way far in advance.
I am, but he's like, we'll do Disneyland and Universal, and we'll do like the haunted hall, because we've wanted to go out to California, but we have like, it's so much more expensive than going to Florida. And so it's like, do we pay more when we have a reason to go up there? The funny thing, every time the Disney website goes down for anything, any little reason, everybody in the Disney group, so I'm like, oh my gosh, the dining plan is coming back. And it's like, no, it's a technical glitch.
I want the dining plan to come back.
I want the dining plan to come back. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, Disney will announce that it's coming back when it's coming back. It's not just going to like magically appear. And my guess is it's not going to be during the 50th.
I'm thinking it will probably come back January of 2023. That's my guess, and which would still fall into the end of the 50th. That's just my guess. I could be wrong, but I think it might. I think they'll definitely wait for a year change, though, because that's what they did when they changed. That's what they did when they changed the dining plan last time. They waited till the beginning of the year. And it was only in place for a couple of months, and then COVID happened.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just my guess. What time do you have to bounce today?
Probably 8:30.
Okay, so we got about 20 minutes. Okay. Just
I don't know how functional I'm going to be in the meeting, though. I do not feel good.
you don't look like you feel good.
It's allergies. I'm pretty sure because it's eye watering, no sinus pressure. Um,
Have you taken something for it?
I just took Tylenol for my headache, but I haven't taken anything. I don't like to take sinus stuff during the day because it makes me drowsy.
I get that. Do you have like a humidifier that you could like diffuse some oils or something?
Not over here. Oh, I have a diffuser, but it's not a humidifier. It's like one of those Scentsy diffuser,
Oils, like some of your breathing oils in it instead of bite. That's what I've got next to me.
like a eucalyptus spearmint or something like that.
Yeah. I get this one at Walmart, and our FSA covers it, which they won't cover vitamins, but it'll cover an essential oil.
No, that's because that's how they do.
This is one. It's from Walmart. It's Gru Nanda. It's Breathe Easy, and I absolutely adore it.
I'm like, that's how they do. That's how they do. That's what they do.
But I got this little one off of Amazon, and I have it running by my desk. So, but yeah, you should do that. That way you might help you feel a little better.
Yeah, I might.
Grab it. So Thursday, I actually get to sleep in. Whether or not it'll happen, we'll have to wait and see.
My sleeping in consists of like waking up at 5:30 instead of 4:30.
Well, fifth grade gets to go to kind of this camp called Starbase, and it's run by the Kansas National Guard, and it's like a science camp. And in 5 weeks, they cover all of the points that have to be covered for state assessments. And they get to use like all the cool like military grade equipment and that kind of stuff. Because we have to leave like 8 o'clock, like literally around this time. I can't ride the bus because the bus doesn't get to the elementary until like 8:05, and we have to leave at 8, which means we're boarding the bus at like 10 till. So my bus aide is covering my bus route on Thursdays, which means that I don't have to leave the house until 7 instead of 6. I'm pretty excited. I'll still like knowing me, I'll still like stay awake, but we can't. It's an all day thing. It's literally 8 a.m. to 3:15, 3:20 when we get back. There's no break. No, like we are on
Like a 30-minute lunch, but you got to sit there with the kids.
Yeah, we don't clock out for lunch because we're on field trip.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that's going to be a really long day. And so I'm like, do I sleep in on Thursdays? This is only for 5 weeks. And then, or do I like stay up? I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. And the kids were like, you can't take anything with you on the bus. And the kids are like, well, you guys will have your phones. And we're like, yeah, guess what? We're adults. And they're like, it's not fair. I've heard that's not fair so much lately. It's like, okay. Mm. Randy says going to California should be a little different than South Carolina. Well, we are kind of coming into a close for Coffee Corner for this time. There will be more coming up. Don't you worry. We've got in 1 month from today, we have another Coffee Corner, and then the following week is spring break. So we may have a week long of Coffee Corners. You just don't know. So, Christy, what is coming up for you on your channel?
Year of the Ear, new videos every Monday and Friday. Magical makeup. I think we've got
Valentine's this week, I think.
Yeah, it's Evil Valentine's. It's Cupid from DC Comics. So you want to do like a evil Valentine look. That's about it.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us this morning. We post new videos on Tuesdays, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and sometimes there'll be collabs or swaps in between. So make sure that you have subscribed and ring that notification bell so you get all the notifications. Like I said, we have a lot of trips coming up. That doesn't include like road trips and stuff. So make sure that you are tuned in for those. Got lots of fun things on the planner schedule, and you don't want to miss any of it. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us this morning, and we will see you in another video or another live. Bye, guys.
Bye.